This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Wednesday, September 13th, 2023, and we're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will visit with Tim Deinert of John Deere. We're going to talk about the smart spraying technology from John Deere, their See and Spray technology, and especially the aftermarket premium version. That's coming up in today's show. We will also have a check of the ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, we are joined by Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis. Tyler, before we get into what happened today, I wanted to ask you about yesterday and the WASDE report, and really anything that jumped out to you from yesterday's report.
I think probably one of the biggest things that jumped out was the USDA did come in and lower yields for both corn and soybeans, lowered it about 1.5 bushels on corn, actually 1.3 bushels, lowered it like slightly less than a bushel on soybeans. But even with that reduction in yield production for total production for corn actually increased. That was because the acreage increased about 800,000 acres. That was off of the FSA data that came out a few weeks ago. It was there. It was kind of tricky to parse through, but the USDA, I think last year was the first year they started incorporating that FSA certified data into the reports. There was some discrepancies on whether it was going to come out in September or the October. Some of it anyhow came out in this report, so that bumped acreage up 800,000 bushels. So, you know, one of the concerns, we've been mentioning this quite a bit as we visited with y'all, is the yield came down, but production rose, and they still haven't done anything to demand. Probably have what a lot of people are thinking is some pretty lofty goals for export targets for next year. So, you know, if we do see some further reduction in yields in the October, November, December, and January reports, a lot of that could easily be offset by lowering that export target.
So, Tyler, let's then turn the page and start talking about what we saw taking place today. What happened with the grains?
A little bit of a turnaround. Had corn ended up closing up about 5 cents really across the board. Soybeans were down most of the day, grabbed some strength here late in the day. I kind of feel like maybe wheat is finally leading the charge. You know, wheat has just been the whipping boy of the markets for the last month and a half, 2 months. And that WASDE report was somewhat bullish to wheat. They didn't really change the U.S. or the domestic market much, but what really kind of stuck out is the world ending stocks for wheat's the lowest it's been in 14 years, I believe. And if you do the math, that takes you back to that 2008, 2009 time period when wheat went to record highs. And so as a result, you've kind of got, you know, it used to be a joke that we used to say, you know, at some point in our lifetime, we'd see the world ending stocks of wheat come down. They actually have now for about 4 or 5 years straight. So, you know, the world market, you could make an argument there that there's a story to be told on the bullish side. And we're coming into a period right now where we're seeing some dryness in Argentina and Australia. That's got the potential to suck some more bushels out of the world supply. And as a result, I think you got the wheat market on notice. Maybe I'm not going to be out here with a bullhorn calling for a bottom, or, you know, the bottom of this drop in the wheat market, but maybe this is it, and this wheat market's going to trend higher. It has trended higher the last few days, and kind of feels like maybe that's pulling the other grains higher with it.
And of course, still a ton of uncertainty in a lot of those wheat growing regions of the world. So something to keep an eye on as we move forward. Tyler, let's go over to the other side of the markets now and what took place with the livestock complex today.
There was some selling in the livestock market. I don't really, you know, I don't think there was anything fundamental out there that was driving it. I keep coming back to, and I've probably said it multiple times on this program, you get into these record high prices, and you're going to have some jitters out there, and some follow the leader type trading. And so when one market starts to sell off, it's just going to cascade. You had some people exit today. It wasn't major down. You've got October feeders kind of leading the way, down $2.20. The rest of your contracts down, somewhere around $1. Fat cattle saw them take $1 off the front month October contract. The rest of them were in that 50-cent range. Hogs, the cutouts on hogs, if you pay attention to the cutouts, it's been whips on both directions for really the last 3 or 4 weeks. Bellies have really taken the brunt of it. Some days they're up as much as $60 a hundredweight, or down $60 a hundredweight, and then the next day they're up $20 or $30. So there's just a lot of uncertainty in that hog market as well, really all the way from the carcass cutout to the futures market. And as a result, it's just bouncing back and forth. And today happened to be one of those bounce down days.
And Tyler, when we go back to the cattle prices, and each and every day it seems like we hear that new contract high or those record highs for the cattle prices, what do you point to as far as what's just keeping this rolling, and we don't hit a period where you don't sound surprised by that, because it just keeps happening?
I think, the day we start getting these cattle on feed reports and it's got placements above 100% of a year ago, that's when we'll kind of know maybe this herd is being rebuilt. But every time we get a cattle on feed report, we're looking at, placements of 92, 93, 94% of a year ago. And remember, a year ago was down from the year previous. And so when you keep getting placements in the feedlots of lower numbers than the year prior, it's just that's less beef that's out there for the meat case. And that just means the feedlots have got to work that much harder to go find the cattle to replace them. So I still don't think we've rebuilt this cow herd. I still think we're sending a lot of heifers into the feedlots, and as a result, it looks like maybe the real pain for the feedlot and the packer really hasn't occurred yet. We could get even thinner numbers going forward if the rancher ever decides to hold heifers back and start rebuilding this cow herd.
Tyler Schau of agmarket.net, our guest here today. Tyler, what's the best way for our listeners to get in touch and our viewers for more marketing information?
Check us out on the internet, agmarket.net. If you want to call direct, the number is 701-987-6009.
Tyler, thank you so much for the time. As always, lots of great information today. We'll speak again soon. Have a great rest of your week.
Take care, Mark.
Thank you to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis. Let's turn our attention now to the closing numbers, courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart.
December corn up 5 3/4 at $4.82 1/4. November soybeans up 3 1/4 at $13.49 3/4. October soybean meal down $2.50 at $3.95.90. October soybean oil up $1.83 at $62.84. Chicago wheat up 9 3/4 at $5.97 1/4. Minneapolis wheat up 8 1/2 at $7.87 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat up 14 even at $7.44 3/4. December oats down 2 3/4 at $4.92 3/4. On the Merc, October live cattle down $1 even at $183.15. September feeder cattle down $1.82 at $253.50. October lean hogs down $1.30 at $83.97. August pork cutout down 28 cents at $110.72. Class 3 milk up a cent at $17.19.
And that brings us to the end of the Ag Market Recap here on Ag Matters PM. It's time now to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association, and the Soy Checkoff. And when we come back, I will be joined by Tim Deinert of John Deere, going to talk about the smart spraying technology latest from John Deere. That's coming up next here on Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Today, I visit with Tim Deinert of John Deere. We talk about the See and Spray technology latest from the John Deere line.
Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here today with Tim Deinert. He is a marketing manager with John Deere, and his specialty is the smart sprayer technology here at John Deere. And Tim, we've been learning a lot about this today, and specifically that there are two different types of this sprayer. You have the Ultimate package and then the Premium. Could you explain the differences and then kind of some of the similarities between the two, please?
Yeah, so See and Spray Ultimate is a technology we announced about a year ago, and that's the ultimate of our See and Spray technologies that you have heard about. So it brings a dual product system where if you're looking to broadcast and target spray at the same time, you can. It has a carbon fiber truss style boom where if you're looking for the ultimate stability in the sprayer business, you can, because you want to stay stable with that cameras looking down in the field, and then it utilizes Boom Track Ultimate, which is keeping that extremely stable. So that was a year ago, but then this spring is where we came up with, right behind us, the See and Spray Premium. So it's using that same See and Spray technology, going through the field, weed, crop, only spraying the weed, but now this is a upgradable kit that you can put on a 2018 or newer sprayer. So if you don't want to trade and you have a sprayer that you are comfortable with, you can put this technology and not have to make that whole new sprayer changeover.
Tim, what is that retrofit process like? Is it a pretty smooth process? Does it get the grower back on into the field pretty quickly?
Yeah, so it's just a matter of going to your local dealer and speccing out what you have and putting in the order. And a lot of times you'll see it done in the off season. So once the mid-season hit, people want to get things done. But when you're in the off season, and you're doing a lot of your shop work and stuff, that's where you see this done before you hit the season. You can add this. So whether you want to do just a tiny piece of technology or the big one in See and Spray Premium, we can put that on your sprayer today.
And what is the compatibility like as well? Does this retrofit system work with a lot of existing sprayers, or is it more specifically tailored to certain sprayers?
No, most sprayers this works for already today. So it's on model year 2018 and newer sprayers, which is relatively new, but pretty much most of those sprayers already have the technology in it, like Exact Apply and Boom Track. And so if you have already a sprayer that you got a couple of years ago with all the technology, this is a pretty easy retrofitable kit that you can get that on there and get that technology and start seeing savings and better yields because of cleaner fields.
And then back to the Ultimate, you talked about the two different sprayer types, the broadcast spraying and then also the smart spraying, and you can have two different types of product simultaneously then.
Yeah, it basically makes it into two sprayers in one, because you can have the dual tank system. One is going to be your broadcasting, putting down your residual. So if you still want a residual, you're doing your first post-emergent pass, you can do that. And then you have your targeted spray where you really want to hit something hard with a contact chemical. You can do that, but not have to use the chemical across the whole field and only hit it where weeds are. Because if you have a targeted where it has to have contact, there's no point in spraying the whole field. You can just spray right where the weeds are. And so you get the best of both worlds of having a residual down, target spray, cut down on your costs, cleaner fields.
When you've seen farmers opt for the premium version, the retrofit version, does it seem like they've done that as more of a cost measure? Has it been something like you said where they've had the existing sprayer already and it was just more comfortable for them? What has led to farmers to adopt this new technology in the retrofit version that makes it so simple that we talked about?
Yeah, I think there's three big things. One is just the simplicity. This is a single tank system, so they can take their same chemical plan of today, knowing that I'm not going to use as much of it, but I know that I can just go and target spray, cut down on some of that. So that's a big one. A second one is the fact that it is just one piece of technology and they're comfortable with what they have, and why I have to completely upgrade the whole sprayer when I just want this component, and that might be a piece. And then the third one is just the fact that depending on the financial situation or the trade the system might have, or if you just got a new one, why have to go and change your whole sprayer? Because things are changing dramatically, whether it's financing and somebody's position just for how they roll and want to hold on to a sprayer for 5 or 6 years and not trade every 1 or 2 years. That's a big thing, and that's where we want to really enable that grower get the technology, not have to go out and buy a brand new sprayer, and get what you want at a much lower cost.
So Tim, as we've covered a lot here today with these two different sprayer systems, is there anything you'd like to let our listeners or viewers know about back in Iowa when it comes to this new technology, and I guess what you're so excited about here today?
It's changing every day. I would say this is a journey with See and Spray. See and Spray is the big one right now, and it's going to get better over time. And what it does today is it can go in crop and corn, soybean, cotton, spray just the weeds when it's identifying their sort of crop and weeds. But this is just the beginning, because it's cameras going through the field. So there's been plenty of times you might have gone across the field and thought about, what if I could identify crop health or stand counts or things like that? That's the type of value that See and Spray could unlock someday. And it's fun because every year we're just going to keep on unloading more features and more things that you can do with it. So it's really exciting. If you want more information, go talk to your local dealer and you can possibly get a demo or see a unit. And you can also visit Deere.com.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking the time to join me here today, braving the sun a little bit as well. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of the Farm Progress Show.
Thank you, Mark.
Our thanks to Tim Deinert of John Deere. It's time now for the Ag Weather Outlook. Right now during the day, it does feel a little bit like the tail end of summer, but when we wake up in the morning, when we're going to bed at night, it does start to cool off just a little bit like fall. Here today around the state of Iowa, a lot of sunshine, do have some areas of isolated patchy fog, and our temperatures remain pretty comfortable right there in the mid 70s. Tonight, those temperatures, again, the cool down starting up at night as we move into the fall season, but nothing too crazy in the way of mostly clear skies. And then as we look at tomorrow's forecast, a little bit of a warm up, but still those very comfortable temperatures in the 70s and low 80s. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours.
As you can see from the National Weather Service, mostly sunny skies today with high temperatures expected 71 to 80 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear skies, isolated patchy fog, and low temperatures expected 46 to 53. For Thursday, a beautiful day around the state of Iowa in the forecast, mostly sunny with highs expected 75 to 81. And now for our affiliate weather map for tomorrow. Cherokee, mostly sunny, high around 78. Shenandoah, sunny and 80 degrees. Des Moines, sunny and 81. Albia, sunny, 80. Waterloo, mostly sunny and 80. Clinton, sunny with a high temperature tomorrow around 75.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that brings us to the end of the Ag Weather Outlook. That also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. Get our 5 daily stories emailed right to you in your inbox. Also, don't forget our video content available on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network YouTube channel. While you're there, click the notification bell, also the subscribe button. That will let you know whenever we have any new video content available. And don't forget our free twice daily market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.